Can you hear that? It's water falling off the trees from a little bit of rain that we finally got. And there's a lot more on the way. I'm grateful for that. The other thing that I'm extremely grateful for is the fact that I am walking some trails at the moment in Marin County, where I'm born and raised. And it's a trail I've never been on. And that seems to be happening more and more these days, where I am finding locations that I've never been, and also returning to locations that I've been often with a different perspective. And that's kind of just where I'm at right now. It's just to a point where I am learning a lot about myself, especially through this pandemic. And just at a point in my life where I know that there's more out there than what I've been living to this point. And I'm grateful for that. And I've been doing a bunch of reading, and one thing that stuck out to me, and actually a couple books that I read, is this idea of just constantly asking myself who I am. Not only as a reminder, but just to spark that curiosity and to allow me to take a look at who I really am. But the other thing that has been kind of sticking out to me is just trying to remember what the point is. You know, I've been confused for so long. I don't know. I mean, not confused. That makes it sound like I was wrong. But we go through what we go through to get where we are. And so I don't regret any decisions that I've made or any paths that I've taken. Everything that I've done has gotten me to where I am today. So again, I'm thankful for everything I've been through. But I guess when I talk about what's the point is, oftentimes I thought the point was, success, whatever my definition of it was at that point in my life. To do something and have people appreciate it to the point where I can make a living off of it and pay my bills. And, although monetary rewards are awesome and obviously needed, because we need to survive, it's just not the point, at least for me. Here I am, coming to a 20-year mark of being a chef, and I've become so attached to the idea of being a chef that it's become so much of my identity that I also, for much of that time, felt like I just needed to keep going with it. Not only did I love it, but I felt like it was almost an obligation to a career that I had begun. Whereas when this pandemic started, a lot of that was ripped out from underneath my feet, and I was, pretty much self-imposed, forced into a position of taking a look at who I am. Realized I extremely love photography, and I decided to start getting into that more and more. And when that started taking on a little bit more of my time than the food did, I received a lot of unwarranted advice from some people and some thoughts. And, when you get back into food, you can do this. And, the photography's fun, but... And it's like, I understand that people's intentions are good. And at the same time, I don't necessarily know that they at first asked me, how am I? Or what's my intention? What's my dreams? What's my desires when it comes to that sort of thing? And so I just stick to constantly checking in with myself and finding what the motives are as far as why I'm doing things. And photography is just one of those things that, like food, feed my soul. It fulfills me. And just because I've been cooking for 20 years, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's the ship that I want to ride out into the sunset. Am I giving up food? Am I having a midlife crisis and a career change? I don't think so, but why do we need to be limited to one thing? Why do we need to be limited to the idea that once we start a career path, we need to stay on that career path? Or if we decide to do something else, we have to completely do a full 180 and go the opposite direction. There are things that fulfill my soul. And unless somebody can give me an idea as to why I can't do multiple things with my life, I'm going to continue on this path. Which, in a literal sense, this path is Pretty fucking epic. You know, so obviously I need to do things to create a living. Again, pay my bills, succeed in the goals that I have for myself, but the attachments that I have to those goals aren't as strong as they used to be, because I understand that most of what's happened with me in the past few years has been totally unexpected, and not even things that I've planned for, yet things that I've been extremely grateful that have happened. So, having just come back from my first trip to Yosemite this past weekend, I had a chance to actually have my first bear encounter, and actually my second and third bear encounters. But the idea of standing in an area one-on-one with another living creature, non-human, and being very vulnerable, and at the same time just respecting what's around me and Mother Nature and things that are out of my control. It was yet another humbling point in my life where I get to kind of get right-sized, I guess. And it also opened up a whole nother avenue of wildlife photography, and the fact that I already love landscape photography, being out in nature. I took a photograph the other night in San Francisco when it started raining that has gotten some really nice attention and compliments, and I don't know. It's not that I do it for the satisfaction of others, but the fact that I'm doing something that I very well could just accumulate a photography library on my own and have it be just for me and pay my bills another way, and I would be fully content, lets me know that I'm on the right path. And when it comes to reading books like The War of Art and Show Your Work and A New Earth and all these other books, listening to people like Eckhart Tolle and Michael Singer and a few other authors that I've really kind of related to and found little golden nuggets in. To me, it all kind of just comes back to the same thing, is just do the work and the results will show themselves. And that kind of takes me back to a part of my culinary career where things had just fully changed for me. And what I realized is that the longer that I was trying to do other people's food or trying to make things the way that I thought others would like them, there was a disconnect. It was coming from my head, not my heart. And that's one of the many lessons that I'm trying to bring across from my food career into a potential career in photography, is that if I make images with the vision that I see, the way that I think they should be, and from my heart, the right people are going to get attracted to those. And at that point, I've begun to realize what the point is again. I don't want to be stuck in a world where I'm constantly trying to figure out where I fit in, where I'm constantly trying to figure out how I can please others, where I'm constantly trying to figure out, why is my life not like everyone else's, or why I don't have as much as somebody else, or why do I get to do things other people don't. At the end of the day, I was born by myself. I'm going to die by myself. And in between those two, it's just a wonderful ride. Being in a loving relationship with my partner, having a beautiful family that's been supportive of everything I've done. It's all led me exactly to where I should be right now. And where I am right now is in a beautiful grove of ferns and trees and some water dropping from the trees like you heard in the beginning of this video. And if I just stop long enough, I can remember that I have everything that I need. And that will allow me to be as present as possible so that I can just continue to put my left foot in front of my right foot. And I'll get to exactly where I should be. Why I decided to start filming a video in the middle of this, I have no idea. But the thoughts that were going through my head seemed a little too good not to share. So I don't know. If you got anything else out of this whole thing, I would just suggest checking in with yourself occasionally. And just asking yourself, who am I? And taking the time to really understand what's the point. Have a great day.